Is this the beginning of the end, or a new beginning? What do we do now? In 1838, Abraham Lincoln, an unknown 28-year-old state legislator, gave a speech in Springfield, Illinois on the perpetuation of our political institutions. A quarter century before he led the country through its first near-death experience, Lincoln asked, "How might American democracy die?" He predicted that no foreign conqueror at the head of a huge army would ever cross the Blue Ridge Mountains and drink from the Ohio River. "If destruction be our lot, we must ourselves be its author and finisher," Lincoln said. "As a nation of free men, we must live through all time or die by suicide." One night, my headlights caught a rectangular flash of red on the roadside by the farm next door to where I'm writing this, in the house where we were lucky to escape the plague. 5 white letters stretched across a sign. Or signs, for there were 2. One planted by the goat pasture's wire fence, another across the road along the hayed field. The blaring shade of that red instantly told me what the 5 letters said. 2 weeks before the election, our neighbors decided to make their preference known, as was their democratic right. They've lived here a whole lot longer than we have. The husband had just dropped off 2 bales of hay that I needed to mulch fall grass seed. Their daughter often sets aside 2 dozen eggs for us in her roadside farm stand. My wife baked a tray of muffins when the other wife was sick. We all want to be good neighbors. But the headlights caught something dark, baleful. The sight made me shudder, and for a second I imagined an evil shape in a far more serious red and black. I pushed the image away. Don't exaggerate. But what if we were living in another time and country? Then wasn't it thinkable? How long could any hateful ruler stay in power without the approval of good neighbors? My children were confused and upset. My wife was appalled. I spent the rest of the night trying to connect the red signs out on the road with the decent people who had put them there. I couldn't. I can't. Our neighbors are committed citizens. The wife served on our town board, and then she ran for town supervisor. She got my vote, in spite of our differing politics, because she's our neighbor, because she cares deeply about her hometown, because government at this level should be nonpartisan, and because I want to preserve a sphere of life where the country's cold civil war can't invade and lay waste to everything. When all the absentee ballots were counted, our neighbor lost by a few score votes. And she lost in part because of people like us, city people who had moved their registration here to swing the district from red to blue because they were angry about the previous presidential election. It was not hard to imagine our neighbors' bitterness at seeing their town changed, their values challenged, and the wife's path blocked by self-certain outsiders without deep roots or high stakes. But when I went over to their house to talk about it, she expressed no bitterness. She took her loss as God's will. Soon afterward, she was appointed a county election commissioner. In the summer of 2020, signs for local candidates appeared by the wire fence along our neighbor's goat pasture. They were red and white and blue, all American. For weeks that was it, and I began to hope that would be it. Then, after the first frost, with the pumpkins piling up and darkness coming down earlier every day, the red sign suddenly appeared. The next morning, my family and I went into town on the first day of early voting. There at the front door of the county government building was the wife of the family next door, the election commissioner, dressed up in high heels and greeting voters. Above her mask, she was smiling with her eyes. She wanted to let us bring our dog inside and apologize for not being allowed. Rumors of ballot fraud and nullification plots were filthying the air all over the country, but I trusted her integrity. She was an essential worker, making self-government possible. We exchanged the friendliest greetings. I forgot all about the signs. We never talked.